Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This time we're taking a closer look at AI and how it can create really personalized learning experiences.
Yeah.
And we're really lucky to have Professor James Landay from Stanford University joining us today.
Glad to be here.
Now, Professor Landay, you've done a lot of work with human-centered AI, and you've got these long-term projects that explore how AI can really revolutionize health and education. So before we get into specifics, can you give us an overview of why you think these are such great areas for AI innovation?
Well, I think both in health and education, you're dealing with, very individual needs and goals.
Right.
And traditionally, it's been incredibly difficult to provide truly personalized support, at scale.
Yeah.
If you think about it, a fitness coach can only work with so many clients.
Right.
A teacher can only give so much individual attention to each student.
Right.
And AI has the potential to change that by allowing us to tailor those interventions and learning experiences to each individual.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems like there have been these fitness apps trying to address this for years, but you've identified some limitations with the way they're going about it right now.
Yeah.
So what are those?
Most fitness apps are very data-driven.
Okay.
So they focus on metrics like steps or calories burned, but they often miss these more qualitative aspects.
Right.
The behavioral and psychological factors that really influence someone's success.
Right.
And the user interfaces, while they've gotten better, can still be kind of demotivating for some people.
Yeah, like the red rings on my smartwatch that just make me feel guilty.
Exactly.
So how does your research tackle those limitations?
So we're exploring the use of large language models, or what we call foundation models, to create these AI coaches that can engage in something called motivational interviewing.
Okay.
So motivational interviewing is a counseling technique.
Right.
It helps people explore their own motivations for change and to overcome ambivalence. It's traditionally done by a human therapist, but we're finding that AI can be surprisingly effective at replicating key aspects of this.
So instead of just telling me to get off the couch, it's going to try to understand why I'm on the couch in the first place.
Precisely. So it's about creating this more empathetic and supportive coaching experience.
Okay.
One that recognizes the complexities of human behavior change.
So can you give us an example of how this works in practice?
Sure.
Tell us about GPT Coach.
So GPT Coach is a prototype that we've developed that combines motivational interviewing with these personalized fitness plan recommendations.
Okay.
And what we do is we actually break down the large language model into these specialized agents.
Oh, wow.
Each one has a specific role in the coaching process.
Okay.
So one agent analyzes 3 months of the user's fitness data to understand, their patterns and challenges.
Got it.
Another agent engages in the motivational interviewing dialogue,
Right.
asking questions, listening to responses, and tailoring its approach
Based on that person.
based on the user's individual needs.
Right.
Finally, a third agent then uses all that information to actually generate the personalized fitness plan.
That's really interesting. So you're not just feeding the AI data, you're actually training it to use proven techniques from human psychology.
Yeah.
What's the response to GPT Coach been like?
So we've done some preliminary testing in the lab,
Okay.
and the results have been very promising.
Yeah.
People were surprised by how well the AI understood their personal challenges and how it adapted its coaching style accordingly.
So you're seeing evidence that people actually respond well to this.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, many participants said they felt more motivated and supported by the AI coach than they had with traditional fitness apps.
Interesting.
Of course, we need to conduct more rigorous studies
Right.
to really evaluate the long-term effectiveness, but the initial feedback has been very encouraging.
What are some of the challenges you're facing in moving from a prototype to a fully functional app?
So one key challenge is moving beyond a purely conversational interface.
Okay.
Right now, GPT Coach works primarily through text-based dialogue.
Right.
But to create a truly engaging and effective coaching experience, we need to incorporate visual elements,
Okay.
like graphs and charts to represent progress, and even something called ambient displays that can provide subtle feedback kind of in the background.
Ambient displays. I'm intrigued. What are those?
So imagine glancing at your phone's lock screen and seeing a subtle visual representation of your progress toward your fitness goals,
Right.
or a brief encouraging message from your AI coach.
Okay.
So these ambient cues can be incredibly powerful in maintaining awareness and motivation, but without being intrusive.
So the more sophisticated version of the activity rings.
Exactly. So we want to create the seamless and supportive coaching environment that integrates with the user's daily life.
So GPT Coach is about providing personalized fitness guidance.
Uh-huh.
But your work with AI in education takes a completely different approach.
That's right.
Let's talk about your project, Smart Primer.
Sure.
What is that?
Smart Primer focuses on elementary education.
Okay.
It uses narrative stories with embedded activities to engage students in learning. We also leverage the power of mobile augmented reality, or a mobile AR, to bring these stories to life and encourage outdoor exploration.
AR in education, that's fascinating. Can you give us an example?
Sure. One of our projects, called Moon Story, teaches kids about the environment, planets, and scale, all within the context of an ancient Chinese tale about the moon goddess.
Okay.
And so we had students using mobile AR on the Stanford campus, walking between these strategically placed planets
Okay.
to get a sense of their relative sizes and distances.
So the AR experience helps them connect these abstract concepts to the real world.
Exactly. And the narrative element provides a context that makes the learning more engaging and memorable.
Mm.
We're also using the large language model to provide personalized feedback on the student writing assignments.
Oh, wow. So it's like a personal writing tutor.
In a way, yes.
That's pretty amazing.
So in Moon Story, for example, students were asked to write about what they learned about sustainability and how they could make changes in their own lives.
Okay.
And the LLM was able to analyze their writing and provide very specific, tailored feedback, encouraging them to elaborate and think critically.
Okay.
And what really surprised us the most was that students actually reported enjoying the writing process and feeling motivated to write more, which is not something you typically see in elementary school.
I can imagine. Kids these days are so used to that instant feedback from technology.
Right.
It's great that you're using that to their advantage.
Yeah, we were thrilled with the results.
Yeah.
We saw significant learning gains and increased engagement, exceeding our expectations. It solidified our belief that this approach has the potential to transform education.
You mentioned another project called AORN.
Yes.
How does that build on the work you did with Moon Story?
AORN takes that idea of personalized narrative learning even further.
Okay.
It focuses on the California oak tree ecosystem.
Right.
But the key difference is how we're using the LLM.
Okay.
So instead of manually writing the entire story, we just define the characters, the plot outline, and some key learning objectives.
Yeah.
And then we let the LLM generate the entire story dynamically for each student.
Wow. So the AI is essentially writing personalized stories on the fly.
That's right.
That's amazing.
And it does it remarkably well.
Yeah.
So it personalizes the story path based on the student's choices and progress within the story.
Right.
So ensuring that the learning experience is both engaging and tailored to their needs.
And what kind of impact did this have on student learning?
We actually saw even greater learning gains with AORN.
Really?
Likely due to that increased personalization.
Okay.
And the fact that the LLM could dynamically adapt the story based on the students' interactions. So it was a powerful validation of this approach.
Right.
And it opens up so many possibilities for creating truly adaptive learning experiences.
It sounds like you're really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI in education. What's your long-term vision for Smart Primer?
So our ultimate goal is to create a toolkit that empowers educators and curriculum specialists to design their own interactive AI-powered stories.
Okay.
So we want to democratize this technology
Right.
and make it accessible to teachers everywhere.
Yeah.
So they can create these rich, personalized learning experiences for their students.
That's fantastic. Professor Landay, all of this incredible work ties into this broader concept you're a champion of, human-centered AI.
Right.
Could you elaborate on what that means?
Sure.
And why it's so crucial, especially in the context of your work?
So human-centered AI is all about designing AI systems that prioritize human needs and well-being.
Okay.
It's about considering the impact of AI not just on the individual user, but also on the surrounding community and society as a whole. And this becomes even more important as AI systems become increasingly integrated into our lives.
What are some of the key considerations when it comes to human-centered AI design?
Well, it starts with traditional user-centered design principles.
Right.
So that means involving users in the design process,
Okay.
understanding their needs,
Got it.
and creating systems that are intuitive and easy to use. But human-centered AI goes beyond that.
Okay.
We also need to consider the impact of AI on the broader community.
Right.
So, for example, if we're designing a healthcare AI, we need to think about how it might affect not just the patient, but also their family, their caregivers, and the healthcare system as a whole.
Right.
So it's about expanding the circle of consideration beyond just the immediate user.
So it's about thinking holistically about the impact of these technologies.
Exactly. And finally, we also need to think about the societal level implications of AI.
Okay.
You know, what are the potential long-term consequences of widespread AI adoption?
Right.
How might it affect employment,
Yeah.
privacy, even our understanding of what it means to be human? You know, these are big questions.
Yeah.
And they require us to engage in an interdisciplinary dialogue, you know, bringing together experts from various fields
Right. Yeah.
to grapple with these really complex issues.
You've mentioned that science fiction has been a source of inspiration for your work, specifically Neil Stephenson's Diamond Age.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how that book has influenced your thinking about the future of AI in education?
So Diamond Age paints this picture of a future where education is highly personalized,
Right.
engaging, and with AI playing a central role, the protagonist learns through this interactive book that adapts to her individual needs and interests. And that vision has really stayed with me.
Yeah.
And it certainly influenced my thinking about the potential of AI to create these truly transformative learning experiences.
It's amazing how science fiction can sometimes foreshadow real-world innovations. What are you most excited about for the future of this field?
I think what excites me the most is the potential for AI to empower individuals, to help them learn and grow in ways that were previously unimaginable.
Right.
Whether it's providing personalized coaching, creating immersive educational experiences, or simply making information more accessible, I think AI has the capacity to unlock human potential on a massive scale.
That's a truly inspiring vision, Professor Landay. And on that note, we're going to wrap up our deep dive here.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us today and sharing your expertise.
It's been my pleasure.
And for our listeners, I want to leave you with this thought. Could this type of AI-driven coaching and education become the norm?
Yeah.
How would it reshape the way we learn and grow throughout our lives?
Right.
It's a question worth pondering as we enter this new era of personalized learning powered by AI.
Absolutely. We're at a pivotal moment. AI is poised to transform so many aspects of our lives, and education and personal development are no exception. The possibilities are truly exciting, and I believe we have a responsibility to shape this future in a way that benefits all of humanity.
Thank you for that inspiring message, Professor Landay. We'll definitely be following your work closely.
Thank you.
And to all of you listening, thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.